Yo, what's going on, everybody? This your boy Ben Mahari here, representing MehariNation Sports Podcast. Welcome to episode 41 of Basketball Conversations. A much love to the entire LDBC, the entire basketball community. Um, Unfortunately, I was out for 2 weeks, recovering from COVID-19. But the good news is I made a full recovery and I'm in good spirits, you guys. So I am back, rocking, ready to rock and roll, ready to give you guys that good old basketball content, you guys. Make sure to smash the like button on the way in. And for the new people that is listening in to the show, make sure to hit the subscribe button and hit the bell icon to get all the latest notifications. We're going to start dropping videos and live streams, you guys. But much love to you guys. You guys have been, fantastic, man. And all right, we'll get down to business here as I see my brother, Brandon Nicholson. You know what? Let me tell you something. Brandon Nicholson's been one of my main loyal supporters right here on this channel, man. And it's always, I'm very happy to see him all the time because he's always usually the first one that's always, coming in, ready to rock and roll with me, and I really appreciate that. So, with no further ado, you guys, with no time to waste, let's get down to it. So I won't waste too much of your time. Let's get down to it here. So to Wednesday we had the NBA draft, and I'll tell you this as I get my stuff together. Here we go. Perfect. So my thoughts on the NBA draft. All right. Thank you, Brandon Nicholson. I appreciate it, man. Thank you. So my thoughts on the NBA draft. Okay, there was not a clear number one overall pick that you could basically say that the Timberwolves should take this guy as their top pick. It wasn't like the Zion Williamson sweepstakes where you knew that if you won the draft lottery, you obviously were going to take Zion Williamson. But overall, the draft to me wasn't. It was kind of a hit and miss type of situation because a lot of these prospects that you saw on the board, a lot of them have different flaws or things like that. So, you know, we don't know who's gonna jump out and be like the top star of the draft. I mean, it could be a situation. It could be the 2000 draft where nobody emerged. You know, Mike Miller and Kenyon Martin were kind of the few exceptions to that. But it is what it is. Uh, Thank you. He says, I appreciate you, fam. I'm always glad when you come on. You're one of the few guys I learn a lot from. Appreciate it, man. I respect that. Thank you. Hey, Damon Precia was good, brother. He's also one of my lowest subscribers there too. Always holding it down, man. So, my initial thought on my hometown Minnesota Timberwolves. I don't like the fact that they brought back Ricky Rubio. Like, really? You're bringing me back memories of 2009 all over again. Remember, the Timberwolves drafted both Johnny Flynn and Ricky Rubio past Steph Curry. Okay? Why did you have to bring me back nightmares of that dude? Why? I don't understand that. I don't get it. Okay, but also I'm gonna get to the first pick in a moment here. But the thing is, though, bro, like, man, you had to bring him back. Why? I just don't get it. I don't understand it. It's no wonder why they were given a C grade by Yahoo Sports. But listen, the thing about the whole situation of turning that 17th overall pick into the Rubio and two late first round picks. I mean, it just was like it was pretty much a money left on the table on Rubio's deal, or risk that those two comes with Ballmero and with Daniels coming into this into the fold here. But I don't know, man. It's just I just don't get why you got to bring him back. It's just it doesn't he doesn't fit to what the Timberwolves are looking to try to do. Now, when it comes to Anthony Edwards, okay? Yep, and Ricky came overseas. That's right. And get this. We had to wait like 2 years before Ricky came into the United States and debuted for the Timberwolves. While already Stephen Curry was already up and coming and was ready to become one of the best premier stars in the NBA. Go figure, huh? Man, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna get into my Timberwolves rant in just a moment here. But listen, the number one spot. I mean, in a sense, it took the Timberwolves like 5 actual minutes to figure out who was going to be their top pick of the draft. So you kind of had the sense that there wasn't really a player that was going to stick out and be like, that's our top pick in the draft. I mean, normally for teams that could find out who would be their top pick, it wouldn't take them that like the whole 5 minutes to make their selection. But I think it went to show like they really had like different ideas of who they're going to take as their top pick. Now, I do like Anthony Edwards' upside. I do. I think he has the potential of being a good explosive scorer that the Timberwolves may need. I didn't like the fact of how he just came across as self-serving and arrogant when he pretty much came out and said, and this is what he actually said in this quote. I'm gonna pull this up right here, right now. Okay, this is what he said to Alex Scarborough of ESPN. He said, "I'm not really into the sport. I'm still not really into it. I love basketball. Yeah, basketball's in my heart, but football is where I started, so I'll never forget that." And he also said he doesn't even watch basketball. Like, really, dude? Really? And you are the top pick in the draft, man. I'll tell you what, man. You better start working your behind off because I get the sense that if this kid doesn't have a strong work ethic, he is going to be another bust waiting to happen, you guys. And and the other thing too that I also learned from Ticket TV, and salute to him. Did you guys know that he made a track tape basically dissing Damian Lillard? Oh my God, man! Has anyone learned from the whole Lonzo Ball experience about gaining a negative reputation and having a bullseye on your back? Like, oh my goodness, man! Goodness gracious, man! Like, oh man! Like, bro, that talk right there should not happen to your number one overall pick in the draft. And the fact that the Timberwolves had to take 5 minutes really goes to show that they had no idea of who they were going to take, and they basically picked a guy that they thought it was just going to be a secure pick. But here's the thing: he's going to probably be a bust because right now, the way he's been talking, his mind is on other interests instead of basketball. You know what I'm saying? And I just like, come on, man. We're falling into the same cycle all over again when it comes to these situations. You also came out and said that you weren't interested in basketball. And if you could be drafted into the NFL right now, he would take that chance. Like, really? Oh Lord have mercy. I tell you, these new generation of kids, they need a little bit of a readjustment period in their minds. Like, why are you even into the NBA in the first place if you think that basketball was not on your mind? You know what I'm saying? It makes no sense to me. And when I heard this on Ticket TV last night, I mean, he went AWOL on that, and I don't blame him for going crazy. But like, bro, if I were the GM right now, I'm like, bro, I'm training this guy ASAP Rocky. Like, you made us waste our top pick on that knucklehead. Like, really, dude? If you didn't want to play basketball, why are you even playing the sport? If you believe football is in your mind, why not continue playing football? That makes me wonder. Like, he just cares about either about the money and or the fame, or just the incentives around basketball instead of the actual sport themselves. So it is what it is with this kid. You know, I wish him the best, but it's he's gonna be another bust. I hate to say it to you guys. He's gonna be another bust. If he proves me wrong, I'll say, hey, he proved me wrong. But right now, guys, oh my goodness, it's gonna look bad. I'll tell you that. Now to the other, elements of the draft. I did like the James Wiseman, draft pick. I think that he's gonna be a guy that's gonna show some real upside. You can't teach 7 feet. You know, uh, you can't teach 7 feet, and I think that with him in the fold now, I think that now the Warriors have a legitimate a big guy that they could basically develop around. I've seen some games out of James Wiseman, and I'll tell you, he could really make a difference. He's basically 7'1", 235 pounds, very good shot blocker, okay, and his skills in the post, they're going to need some work to be done. And I think that when you look at his game, I think that there's going to be some good improvements and some good things on the upside for him. You know what I'm saying? The big strengths for him is that he has the good physical tools. He has elite athleticism, and when he's stationed down low, he knows how to work inside in the paint. All right. Very good shot blocker. Okay. And he has a very good length that is able to recover from a lot of the shooters. Okay. Now, you know, the weaknesses of this game are he can block shots, but there's major holes to his game because he's not good at moving side to side and he's not good at switching out on guards. Now, the other thing is that he has a lack of muscle too. And when he was playing in the international level with USA basketball, he was struggling against the other, international bigs that would basically get into his body and uses the lower center of gravity to basically push him around. You know, those are the things that he's gonna have to gradually work on. And I have confidence that the Warriors will be able to fix those, weaknesses. So um the other thing too is that many coaches are not going to give him the opportunity to isolate on the wing and demonstrate basically his ball handling abilities. So with that reason alone, he's going to have to probably learn to work off the ball. Or the other thing too is that he's going to have to learn how to refine his post moves. Those are the things that I think he will need to work on. So I do like the James Wiseman draft pick for the Warriors. I think that was a very good draft pick on their end. Yep. So let me check out the chat real quick. He said, when I heard that, I said, bust. Yep, exactly. Brandon Nicholson says, that makes me wonder, why did this guy even in the league in the first place? I wish to answer that question myself. I really do. Uh, Damon Preacher said he wanted the money. Yep, he definitely did. And he also said, perfect pick. Yep, absolutely perfect pick. But as good as that draft pick was, um, I think that I think James Wiseman has the potential of being, being the best player in this draft class. You know what I'm saying? Um, as far as my Bulls is concerned, I did like, the Patrick Williams draft pick. I thought it was a very interesting draft pick to say the least. But you know, he is a bit of a risk though, and he has the capability, standing at 6'8", 225 pounds, with the frame and athleticism to be actually, being a very good versatile two-way player. Especially that is important, for today's basketball. But I think that the other weaknesses he has is that, you know, he is a turnover machine, and he can be turnover prone at times, and I think that that could be something that it could be concerning too. Plus, you know, I think that with Patrick Williams now, and now you have Wendell Carter here there too. Um, I think that to me, as I check out his you know, uh, there we go. So I think he'll do just fine. I think he'll, it takes him some time, to learn the ropes, but I think that he's something that the Bulls are definitely going to need. And you know, s- l- I think he has the capabilities of being a very broke man's version of a Paul Millsap. But but I think that he'll develop very decently. So, but it is what it is at this point. As I see my brother, the odd fella in the building, represent Canada. Salute odd fella. Make sure to go subscribe to odd fella, man. Hold on one second. There you go. Make sure to subscribe to the Odd Fella, man. Go check out his channel, bro. For real, for real. So those are my thoughts on the draft. Now it's time to go on the next subject and hand it. Now, as good as the Warriors did well on draft night, they suffered another major blow, and I'm talking about this one right here. Now, as you guys heard over the course of the week, Klay Thompson ruptured his Achilles tendon, and now he's basically done for the season. So he's going to have to miss another season of basketball because of a very devastating injury. Now it's nearly about 500 plus days since he tore his ACL in his left knee in the NBA Finals in 2019. And, he's been working very hard to rehab that knee, getting into shape and, getting ready to start the new campaign to prove once again that he's still one of the elite players. And then all of a sudden, boom, the Achilles tear injury comes in. I mean, it's just, I think it was devastating, man. It really was. So the big question is now going to be how will the Warriors are going to move forward. Um, I've been hearing, through other reports that the Warriors are trying to make a that are Warriors are making a move to bring in Kelly Oubre Jr. That basically was traded. That basically was traded now to the actually now he's been traded to Golden State Warriors. Okay, so now they brought in Kelly Oubre, which is going to be pretty much a broke man's version of Klay Thompson, but he's actually not bad of a player. He's actually a good left wing, guard that can basically slash and can give you some decent points there. But he's just a solid plan B at this point. Um, I think that right now the Warriors right now they were planning on pursuing another championship or possibly return back into the championship mix, but because of what happened to Klay, I think that's going to hold their plans back again for this year. Um, Curry's going to come back at 100%. We know that Draymond Green is going to have to get his mind right. Otherwise, he's going to be shipped out of there ASAP Rocky now. There's still going to be some other question about how will Andrew Wiggins, start to, make his leap in bounds now. Those are the things that are going to be thought about now. But to go into a little bit more in depth about the whole, Klay Thompson, injury. Um, Damon Preacher says it seems like everybody's getting re-injured in Golden State. That's true. And Brandon Nicholson said it's starting to make me wonder about the training staff. That could be a good point. That's a good point because how is it that you you basically have been rehabbing and helping out Klay Thompson to get better, and then all of a sudden he ruptures his Achilles tendon. Like if I were the management of the Golden State Warriors, I'm asking the training staff, what were you guys doing, with Klay Thompson? Did you guys honestly, were watching him? Did you guys make sure that his he was getting his training in, he was getting his rest in? Oh yeah. And yes, Brandon Nicholson, I think that the trade has been official. I think the trade has been official now through Twitter. Um, but I think right now, I think that the Golden State Warriors are just looking at this year as like, let's see how this team looks. I do like Eric Pascal, coming off the bench. He really did, was a good, spark off the bench during the year. Um, I think that the Golden State Warriors right now they're just going to look at this year like who's going to step up and who's going to shine out as we get ready for 2022. Those are my thoughts at hand here. But it's kind of sucks for Klay Thompson because he was just working very diligently to get back on the court, and then all of a sudden you get injured again. But let's keep it in mind, you know, an Achilles tear injury is a very difficult injury to recover from because you either come back the way you were before, or you lose part of your step, or I, or do you basically never become the same player again. Now, when it comes to those kind of injuries, Isaiah Thomas of the Pistons had an Achilles tear injury, but he was going to retire after the 93-94 season regardless. But he tore his Achilles tendon before the end of that season. Obviously, the most famous example of Dominique Wilkins when he tore his Achilles tendon in 1992. He came back, had one of his better years of his career, and won Comeback Player of the Year award. And then obviously Kobe Bryant tore his Achilles tendon, and unfortunately that was the beginning of the amount of injuries that he endured, and he was never quite the same player after that. So the thing with Klay Thompson is going to be that he was a very good defender, not like Jimmy Butler type defense, but he was one of the better defenders in the league. I think that his defensive prowess might start to deteriorate, but he wasn't a guy that it was dependent on athleticism. Basically has been a spot up shooter throughout his career. He's made his bones on basically shooting, and I think that his offense is not going to get declined too much. And plus, he's 30 years old. It's not like he's getting older. So he's still in the prime of his game, and I think that with that being said, he'll be just fine. I think that what's going to happen with the Warriors is that their plans of a championship, they may still have those thoughts in mind, but I think it's just unrealistic at this point because I just don't think that right now the Warriors are just going to be looking to pursue a championship right away because they don't have the personnel, to probably get there. They had the experience too with obviously with Steve Kerr as coach and with Curry and with Green, but they definitely need the presence of Klay Thompson there to take pressure off of Curry. Otherwise, it's just going to be very, very, very difficult to to play out there. So, oh yeah, oh good point. That's right. I forgot about Boogie. Man, thank you, Brandon Nicholson. Thank you. And Boogie had the same injury, and Boogie has not been the same player since. That's exactly. I totally forgot about that. Boogie had that ruptured Achilles tendon when he was in New Orleans, and then after that, he did it again. Oh my goodness, it's been rough on her. So the thing is, though, guys, that you know those injuries, it's not impossible to come back from, but it will be a very, very tough task. But I wouldn't doubt Klay Thompson whatsoever to come back and recover from those injuries. So to me, it just is what it is at this point. He said, plus it seemed that the Lakers just got better with the new additions. I'm gonna get to the Lakers in a little bit. We'll get to there. So the other topic that I wanted to discuss about with you guys is that Mr. Giannis right here. And so right now the Milwaukee Bucks are very, very serious about defending about keeping Giannis happy and keeping him in Golden State. I mean, I'm sorry, in Milwaukee. Why am I saying Golden State? And right now, as I basically get some stuff taken care of here, let's check out the chat real quick. He said, "I remember the Boogie because I started following the game around the time he got hurt." Oh yeah, yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's got his man. I feel bad for Boogie. I really do. Like, you think about this for a moment. Like, Boogie was at one point was getting close to having a guaranteed you know super max deal, and you know to all of a sudden have that taken away from you like that. I mean, it was very, very painful to see. You know what I'm saying? But but I wish him nothing but the best in terms of getting back out there too, because he deserves to have another opportunity to play again. You know what I'm saying? Okay, now we're gonna get into the other part of the episode here, which is basically the Milwaukee Bucks moves that they've been trying to do. You know that the Bucks are serious of keeping Giannis. They want to keep Giannis long term, and I will give him credit for making the move for Jrue Holiday. I thought that it was a really good move to get somebody in the backcourt that was really gonna, take the pressure off of Giannis. And Jrue Holiday is certainly still one of the better defensive, players in the NBA. You know what I'm saying? And the fact that they were able to get rid of George Hill and Eric Bledsoe, oh, that made me so happy. Now, as far at the Bogdan-Bogdanovic trade, I think that's going to be nixed now because there's been some issues with that trade that basically, nixed the entire thing. And I think the NBA is kind of investigating if the Bucks were tampering with the trade. So we'll see about that, whole situation. But it's kind of, been a little bit weird about that. But I think that in a blessing in disguise, I think that it's going to help them out, in terms of, provided better flexibility for the Bucks. Um, because if completing the sign and trade would if they were to complete the sign and trade with the Kings to get Bogan Bojanovic, okay, the team basically the team would have been severely limited in terms of filling out their entire roster. Basically, teams that have received us via sign and trade there are hard capped at this tax apron with about 6.3 million greater than the luxury tax line. And therefore, Milwaukee would have had to complete the Bogdanovich trade with 7 open roster spots and little ability to pay their free agents than the veterans minimum. And considering the fact that they wanted to save their money to try to give Giannis a super max, I think that it won't hurt them as bad as people are saying about it. Now, the other best questions they're going to have to decide on is that if in the deadline, where they're going to guarantee the 7 million for Irisan Ilisova, who basically was supposed to head to Sacramento in the trade, but unfortunately that trade got nixed. So it could be a situation where they might release Ilisova, and right now Wes Matthews is now gone to the LA Lakers. So now you're gonna have to find another, shooting guard at that position too. So it's gonna be interesting to see how they're gonna build out their starting five. Now you're gonna have to start, working around, with Pat Cunnington, or work or trying to, give more minutes to Dante DiVincenzo. And I like him. I do like Dante DiVincenzo. I think that he wasn't. I think he just didn't have enough opportunities, to really show what he can do. So we'll see. We'll see what the Bucks can do. But I think that the most important thing right now, the most important thing is to trying to keep that man in Milwaukee. And I will say this though too, as I check out the chat real quick. He basically signed an offer from an Atlanta. Oh, he did. Cool, cool. Now, here's what I have to say to these other media outlets that have been trying to say like, oh, the Bucks should trade, Giannis, elsewhere to get some value out of it. Really, you're trying to trade the man to a big market franchise. That way, you can try to milk that to the gills. Like, get out of here, bro. Listen, I don't think that Giannis would be interested in playing in a big market, spotlight. I think that he believes that in his heart of hearts he belongs in Milwaukee and he wants to stay there. But again, as much as loyalty any superstar can give to an organization, they can't turn their back on you without noticing. And Giannis has to be careful about what the Bucks are doing to try to build this team. But the most important thing is that the Bucks are showing that they're serious about winning a championship. And considering the fact that Brooklyn's now on their necks, and that they could possibly pull off the trade of getting James Harden, which we're gonna get to in a bit, this is gonna really test them in terms of their vigor, and also can they really stretch themselves out even further to win a championship. So we'll see what happens with that. But I think that the Bucks are showing that they're aggressive in terms of reconstructing the team and building a championship team around Giannis. So we'll see about that in terms of that. Now we're gonna get into the big moment of all. All right, the big moment of all, you guys. We're gonna be discussing about the one topic that has been jumping around, buzzing, and that is this. Oh yeah, this one here, the James Harden sweepstakes, as I like to call it. The James Harden sweepstakes. All right. Yep, the James Harden sweepstakes. Well, you would ask me, well, what the heck's going on here? Well, I'll tell you. Okay, the Brooklyn Nets right now, they're making a push to win a championship, and they've made it clear that they're willing to trade their young assets to get James Harden. All right. Consider the fact that James Harden declined a contract extension, a much longer contract extension to stay in Houston. Now he wants to make it clear he wants to win a championship, and he feels like it's not going to happen in Houston. And the deadline to make this trade is basically next week. So what it comes down to is this: if this trade happens, all right, the question is going to be how well can they orchestrate themselves on the court, all right? Because with KD, his game is basically on finesse, and he can work off of the ball. But the other two issues are who's going to be the guy, going to be the playmaker, and who's going to bring the ball up the court, who's going to have the ball in their hands the majority of the time. Because you both know Kyrie and Harden love to have the ball in their hands and do their thing. So they they are now on the verge of basically sacrificing some of their defense with Spencer Dunwoody and Karis LeVert to basically bring in a high octane offense. And Damon Priest says the Nets just re-signed Joe Harris and might be out now. Ooh, okay, okay. Now it is really make things interesting. I like Joe Harris. Um, very not very astute shooter, and so they basically signed him to a 4-year deal. Wow, nice. 4 years, 75 million. Wow, wow. Yeah, that I think keeping Joe Harris is a much needed thing. Yes, absolutely. So keep that being that said, okay. I think that the Brooklyn Nets, in my view, are jumping at a huge risk of getting James Harden because Harden wants to win, but I think he wants to win basically on how he does it. And right now, considering the fact that Steve Nash has brought in Mike D'Antoni as his assistant coach, I he might bring the idea of, hey, let just James Harden do his thing. I don't know, but you got three guys that really are high volume scorers, and they both need the basketball. You're gonna have to find a way to share the rock between the three stars. But I think that they'll be able to figure this out. With Harden and Durant, they were teammates together, so they would be able to figure this out. In fact, James Harden was actually a really good playmaker when he was in OKC than he was in Houston. The only issue is going to be how will Harden and Kyrie work this out, and I think they'll be able to settle it out and just figure out who's going to be the playmaker and who's going to work off the ball. I think Kyrie would do it better as the point guard, and James Harden working with off the ball and become and just being a decoy. Is he willing to sacrifice to do it? I don't know. And I see my brother Lewis of Sports Network here. Well, salute, brother. How you doing, man? Make sure to subscribe to that channel. You just say salute, great stream. You put that earlier, my brother. Oh yeah, absolutely. Brent Nicholson says, I don't know. Mike D'Antoni as the assistant coach. Yeah, I know. I don't know, man. That idea scares me. It really does. Um, I think that what a lot of people have been saying on my videos, because I did a couple of videos about this whole situation. Not many of them are loving the trade idea. As I see my brother X Gucci 23 into the building. What's going on, X Gucci? How you doing, man? But I tend to think that this trade could work, but it's just a matter of can those three mesh? And if they could be able to figure this out, I think that they're on the verge of achieving something really really great here. Loser Sport Network says, if I'm Brooklyn, the only way Harden fits is if he takes the OKC role. That's gonna be a problem. Listen, we know how inflated James Harden's ego is because he wants to score a lot, and if he tries to play that role that he was in OKC, is he willing to do that? That's a really good question. I don't know. He basically said facts. Yeah, I listen. I'm not saying you're wrong. You're absolutely right. I'm just saying, like, would he be able to accept that role? That remains to be seen. He basically said, "Doing good, fan. I have bad news to tell you, fam." Oh, really? What happened, man? Let me know. Just let me know, all right? He said, "Appreciate it, Brandon." Yeah. Brandon Nichols said, "I'm having Clippers flashback when I look at this Brooklyn team." Yeah. Oh yeah, really? Man. Yeah, absolutely. It reminds me a lot of the which one are you referring to, Brandon Nichols? Are you referring to Lob City or are you referring to Kawhi and Paul George? Let me know in the chat what are you referring to. But it it's gonna be it's I'll tell you this. This whole sweepstakes thing has been going absolutely crazy. And you know, if they can pull this straight off by next week, I'm telling you, the league is going to be scared of what's going to happen. Trust me. Trust me, trust me, trust me. It's going to get crazy in here. You know what I mean? But we'll see what happens. We'll definitely see, what happens with that. Also, for all the new people that's coming in, make sure to hit the like button too. Make sure to hit the like button and make sure to share the live stream too. So, the next one in hand here. We're almost towards the finish line here, guys. So, we're going to discuss about the Los Angeles Lakers here. All right? So, the Lakers right now have a lot of free agency questions that they have to answer here. All right? I could give a mixed review about how well the Lakers have done, this season. You know what I'm saying? Lewis the Sport Network said the thing is KD is going to look like a hypocrite if he lets Harden join because he said he wants to prove he didn't need Gold State. I know. Right. Exactly. Actually, Gucci said, "Oh yeah. She told me too. Yeah. Oh yeah. For those of y'all don't know, Tay Brown basically was diagnosed with COVID-19, and so hearts and prayers to go out to her, man. I hope she can. Hopefully, she'll be able to make it through. Okay. Lewis Sputnik says, okay, I seen that. Brandon Nicholson says, I appreciate you. Both you and Mahari is the two guys that I learned from. Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's what the media is banking on. Right. See, the media always like to play these narratives all the time. And it's just absolutely crazy. He said, this Clippers this past season. Okay, there you go. See that now I was thinking of that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Montrezl Harrell pulled an LVZ. Apparently, he wasn't sold on the Clippers either. Well, listen, when you got a team that's basically the sum of its parts, and they don't have chemistry that can work together, and when you have two stars that are not willing to, pull the reins in on the team, that's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? Yep. Off speed recovery. Okay. So let's hear about the Lakers here. Okay. So the Lakers right now, they're getting to work on defending their championship. Now, earlier today, Dwight Howard basically signed a one-year deal with the Philadelphia 76ers. I guess that, he feels like he can still be that same player that he was when he was in Orlando. That is not going to happen. The league has passed him by, and he's burned way too many bridges with other teams. And now he's got a championship. He's feel proud of himself, and now he wants to go elsewhere. More power to him. But, I don't think the Lakers are going to worry too much about, Dwight Howard as much. So it's not a real two loss for it. But right now, they're basically shoring up their guard play. I like, the trade that they made you know, uh, for Dennis Schroeder too. I thought it was a really good trade to shore up their backcourt, provide more versatility there. Um, KCP basically is waiving his no trade clause, and now he's going to look to try to sign with the New York Knicks. As I see my brother, Real Facts TV, into the building. Salute, man. How you doing, man? And I see my brother Gideon, one of my favorite people. Salute, man. And Brandon Nicholson says Trey is clutch too. That makes all the sense now. Oh yeah. And then Harrell and Matthews Lakerland. Yep, we're just discussing about that. So they made some good moves. They brought in Wes Matthews. They brought in, uh, um, they basically brought in Dennis Schroeder. Understand what I'm saying? And they basically traded away, Danny Green. And salute to LeBron for reaching out to him and showing him his respect there too as well. And they're working on a deal to keep Anthony Davis around in Los Angeles since he's now a free agent. Yep, we just talked about that, Gideon. Yep, we just talked about that. Um, yep. What's up, Eric R? How you doing, man? He said the Sixers. We just picked out Dwight Howard as our backup. Yep, that's what we just discussed about. And said Christian Wood to H Town. Oh yeah. So the Lakers right now, they are basically reconstructing their roster. And just remember this: they just won the championship a couple of months back, and the season's starting in December. So what's happening here is that the Lakers at this point, don't be surprised if they get off to a bit of a slow start as they're trying to reassemble the team, but also reassemble the championship level chemistry, and also The other rumor that I've been hearing around here too is that Rajon Rondo could possibly sign with the L.A. Clippers. You know, but I don't see that happening. But he right now is basically has looking to try to either re-sign with the Lakers or go elsewhere. And there's been reports also too that Rondo could possibly sign with the Atlanta Hawks too. So now that leaves a major question, about their backcourt. Now, I think that they'll be fine without Rondo per se, you know, because they're basically training some of their core some of their main other pieces to try to deepen up their bench, and I think they're doing a good job at that. He ba- Gideon says, "I'm a Knicks fan, and we signed Alec Burks." Yep, yep. So the other thing too that I would say about the Lakers right now is that they're basically trying to bring in new pieces and try to shore up their depth and shore up their rotations. Um, I think that right now, I think that the Lakers are going to try to do their best to repeat as champions. But the West is getting better, and the East is starting to get stronger again. And I think that right now what we're seeing is that you know the the uh, the other teams right now are starting to improve. So the Lakers will be tested when the season starts. And also breaking news there too, guys, that as Gideon just reported that Montrezl Harrell is now signed with the LA Lakers. That is a great, great move. Great move, you guys. I'm telling you, the Lakers right now, they're winning right now. You just signed Montrezl Harrell to a 2-year deal. Man, I'm going to tell you something right now. The Lakers right now, they are far, far ahead than everyone else right now. And if you're the Clippers, you just basically effed up a good situation. You lost one of your best, bigs on your team and allowed them to go to the rival Lakers. Woo! I'm telling y'all, things are looking very real bad in Clipperland right now. They are. I gotta say right now, if the Lakers continue to pull off these kind of moves, I'm telling you, they might repeat as champions. You guys, has does Boston sign any key players? No, not really. And plus, Gordon Hayward just basically, is now leaving as a free agent too. He said, "Damn, the Lakers getting on my damn nerves." Hey, blame the Clippers for blowing that 3-1 lead. You know what I mean? The Lakers are far ahead of everyone else. So what how can you get mad at that? This is what it is with these guys. You know, but the bottom line is this. Right now, the Lakers right now are doing their job of basically acquiring new pieces in, and they're bringing in better pieces there. Getting Montrezl Harrell in place of Dwight Howard is a great move. Brandon Nicholson said, "Mahari, that's why I said that Montrez wasn't sold on the Clippers either. This is why he left." Of course, of course. You know what I'm saying? This the whole direction of that Clippers team was just fundamentally flawed, and you really had to question the leadership of both Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. You know what I mean? Not being able to keep the guys in line. The chemistry was bad, and it was just an uncomfortable situation. And you could tell in the playoffs how they're going to how they were going to struggle, and that's what we saw. Little Rider Sports Network say, "Wow, the Brooklyn Nets gave Joe Harris 75 million." Yeah, we just talked about that. Yep, a lot of money, man, for one of the best shooters. Eric R says, "We got to keep hearing about LeBron versus Dirk for the next 3 years." I know, I don't like talking about it either, but it is what it is. It's not fun for me to talk about it either. Gideon says, "Do you see Russ and Harden in new uniforms by next month?" Harding, most likely, yes. With Russ, that's going to be difficult because Russ's trade value is kind of diminished to somewhat, although unfairly because he was dealing with injuries. Plus, he was sick with COVID too. But I do expect them to change uniforms. Maybe Harding, most likely, more than I think Russell would be. You get what I'm saying? So I think we're gonna see that to be possible. Gideon says Joe Harris is underrated. He can catch and shoot and pull the ball on the floor. Yeah, I think that was a great move to keep Joe Harris around because even if you weren't going to get Zach LaVine or something like that, to keep a very valuable, asset like a Joe Harris on your team, very, very important. Good move out of Nets on their part. So Lakers right now, the questions are starting to get answered right now, and if they continue to keep pulling off these kind of moves, they're gonna probably once again repeat as champions. So we'll see what happens with that. But I think that the Lakers are doing a good job. The Clippers are kind of faltering right now, and so at this point, we'll see how this will work. Eric Garr says, "Don't worry, a desperate team will bite for Russell, a la Knicks, Pistons, or Magic." Yeah, I think I would see Russ most likely in either New York or maybe with the Charlotte Hornets. Maybe, I don't know. I'm just fearful that for Westbrook's sake, that you know he might be one of those players that's not going to get a job in the league in the next few years when his play starts to decline. You know what I'm saying? Lewis, the writer of sports, says there's still big men out there who has not been signed yet. Yeah, a lot of big guys have not been on contracts yet. So that should really tell you something of how the game is pretty much changed up now. He basically said Christian Wood can stretch the floor and he can throw it down. Oh yeah, yeah, he's a very underrated player. He's definitely a beast. So let me do some real quick. So let's discuss free agency talk. You know what I'm saying? While we're on to the final subject here. So what's your guys' thoughts here? Do you think that the Lakers are going to repeat as champions, or do you think that someone else is going to emerge? You said Jeremy Grant is still a free agent. I'm surprised that no one's trying to take a chance on him. You know what I mean? Jeremy Grant is a very underrated, asset too. Not a top asset, but okay, Jeremy Grant signed with the. Okay, okay, yeah, okay, that makes sense. Okay, so what? So let me ask y'all. Let me ask y'all this. Let me just ask y'all this. Okay, do y'all think? Do y'all think that the Lakers are going to repeat as champions, or do you think another team is going to emerge as a champion? Yeah, for this upcoming season. Let me know what you guys think. Okay, I think that the Lakers at this point, with the moves they've been making, and you know, if they can find a way to keep Anthony Davis around, I think that they might repeat as champions. And Brandon Nicholson says, I think the Lakers could repeat if they continue to make the moves that they made tonight. Yeah, I think so too. I think that if they keep making these kind of moves and shore up the other pieces on the roster, yeah, they might repeat as champions. It could be a case where we might see the first three-peat team in almost like 3 decades since the 2000 Shaq and Kobe Laker teams. You know what I'm saying? It's not easy to repeat. He also said repeat. Okay, so we got two people that said that they have a chance to repeat. One says they have a chance for a three-peat. Gideon says Lakers are repeating unless somehow AD leaves. Right. I don't see AD leaving. I think that they'll probably re-sign him to probably a 4-year deal, and probably going to I think that they're going to probably you know, re-sign AD to a bit of a long-term deal, and then basically put a player option on their contracts to opt out as free agent if things still go well. Lou's Sports Network says they are the favorites right now. They are the chances that they get knocked off. So he believes. So Louis Sport Network said they're going to repeat as champs. Okay. Brandon Nicholson says Montrezl Hill is going to get a ring before Lou Williams. Gideon says salute Lewis. So yeah, I do agree with the consensus of you guys. I think that the Lakers are basically the favorites until somebody beats them, and that just is what it is. They're basically the champions until they get knocked off. So I have the Lakers and the Brooklyn Nets in the NBA Finals, but my other matchup could be the the Milwaukee Bucks versus the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, when I look at the West right now, the way I look at the West is that it's the Lakers, number one, um, Denver at number three, okay? Who's at number two? Actually, I'll put Denver at number two. Clippers at number three, okay? Portland at number four, all right? And then you could possibly put Dallas at number five, and yeah, and then probably put the yeah, I gotta really think this out. I can't think off my head, so I'll just leave it at that for now. Jimmy Grant can help the Pistons with his 3-point shooting and lockdown defense. Certainly he can. And I got the Brooklyn Nets winning it. Okay, he got Brooklyn, and he said repeat. Little right says, I heard the Lakers are going after Boban. Yeah, they are. After that failed trade, I think that the Lakers are going to try to pursue him too. To try to get him for his 3-point shooting and other versatility on the offensive side. He said, after the league is investigating what the hell the Bucks are trying to do to trade for him. I heard that there was some tampering going on. I think maybe somebody from the Bucks organization was talking to him before the trade was made. I don't know. I don't know what was going on, but it's obvious to me there was some shady stuff going on in that trade that this didn't seem right to the NBA's eyes. And I would know because I remember at the time back in 2000 when the Timberwolves, signed Joe Smith to an illegal contract. And then as a result, the NBA stole four future first round picks for the next 4 seasons. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the reasons why the Timberwolves were not able to get better because we didn't have no first round pick for the next 3 to 4 years. It was crazy. So I know how that feels, coming from Minnesota and seeing what happens when you basically mess around with contracts or try to, cheat the system. But a lot of those teams do that all the time and don't end up getting caught. So hey, if it ain't cheating, if you ain't trying, so it is what it is on that. But I think free agency right now is going on, and it's basically been a little bit wild, but I think that there's going to be some, hit or misses out of this, and we'll see how will all the teams, adjust when they bring in their free agents into the mix. So, but it is what it is with that. All right, you guys. So that's my time frame for now, though, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and get some sleep and get ready for work tomorrow morning. But I appreciate all the love and support, though, guys, and thank you for riding with me on this channel. We're very, very close to the 1,000 subscriber mark, and I hope I can get there before the end of the year. But make sure to share this live stream, share my videos too, though, to the public, and hopefully this will get out to more people that are willing to join the ride. Make sure to smash the like button on the way out there too, guys. But thank you guys for all your support, though, man. He said, "Do you think a team will 3-peat in the future?" Um, it's hard. Winning a 3-peat is hard because you got to have a lot of luck and obviously you got to have the talent, but you got to have some luck to get there. Um, maybe in the near future, but I don't know if it's going to be in this decade. So, but we'll see. But we'll definitely see. But I'm going to go ahead and shut it down for the night, though, guys. But thank y'all so much for being with me in this show, though, guys. Make sure to smash the like button on the way out. So this is the conclusion. This is going to be the conclusion of episode 41 of Basketball Conversations. See y'all next Friday night with another episode. Hopefully there'll be some more trades and more free agency news coming in. Make sure to check out my videos, though, too, when all the news comes out. So actually, my button on the way out, though, too, guys. And much love to the entire LDBC and the entire basketball community.